Chosen ones, what I'm about to reveal to you right now could be the most urgent message you'll ever hear. You might not even realize it yet, but you're standing on the edge of a major spiritual battle. And here's the truth. God is sending you a warning. He's telling you, stay out of it. There's a dangerous path ahead, and if you step into it, you could be walking into a storm. You won't be able to escape. But listen, this is not the end. It's actually your way out. God has a plan to save you. But it requires your obedience and your trust. The protection, the guidance, the breakthrough you've been waiting for is already in motion. But you've got to stay aligned. You cannot afford to ignore this warning, and you certainly cannot wait. You're in danger. And if you keep going in the direction you're heading, the consequences could be severe. But if you listen now, if you heed the voice of God, this plan will not only save you, it will transform everything. Everything you've been praying for, every breakthrough you've been hoping for, is about to come to you. Stop, breathe, don't move another inch until you hear this. If you've been restless, if something inside you has been whispering, wait, this is not random, this is holy ground. Before we go any further, hit pause and make a move of faith. Like this video, subscribe, and comment 99 below. That number is a sign, not for the algorithm, but for heaven, that you're ready to receive what God has already prepared for you. Chosen one, you didn't stumble onto this video, you were led. That inner nudge, that still, small voice, that's the Spirit confirming, this word is for you. And if you stay with it, if you open your heart and silence your doubt, your life won't just change, it'll be realigned with the purpose God designed before you took your first breath. Right now, you're standing at the edge of something massive, a divine intervention. You might not see the danger yet, but heaven does, and the message couldn't be clearer: stay out of it. This isn't a suggestion, it's a command from the throne room. God is blocking your next move, not to frustrate you, but to protect you from a snare you can't see yet. Psalm 91:3 says, "Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence." That's what's happening here. You may feel like everything's paused, like your words are stuck in your throat, your plans suddenly frozen. That's not failure, that's divine interference. It's what the Bible calls holy restraint. Proverbs 16:9 tells us, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Right now, God is steering your steps away from danger. You're not losing momentum, you're being shielded. This isn't exhaustion, it's a supernatural shutdown, a sacred lockdown. Heaven is overriding your instincts, because if you acted now, you'd walk straight into something meant to destroy your calling. Maybe you're asking, but why does it feel like I've been cut off? Because the battle you're trying to fight isn't even yours. Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." That stillness you're feeling, that fog, that's the sound of heaven taking over. You've always been the one who steps in, the fixer, the one who keeps it all together. But not this time. Because this time, stepping in would be stepping out of alignment with God. Think back. How many times did you rush in, only to regret it later? God isn't punishing you now. He's saving you from repeating that pain. You're used to control. But faith doesn't bloom in control. It grows in surrender. And sometimes the greatest act of faith is to let go and let God. Isaiah 55:8 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Let go. Because what you're about to walk into isn't just messy, it's spiritual warfare disguised as a personal problem. And the enemy? He's not always a stranger. Sometimes it's the ones you trust most. Someone around you's wearing the mask of loyalty while plotting a betrayal that could derail your purpose. But God sees what you don't, and he's already moving to block it. Right now, heaven is standing between you and a trap. You don't have to fix this. You're not supposed to. because this time it's not about your strength, it's about God's sovereignty. Psalm 46:1 declares, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Chosen one, if you feel powerless, good. That means God's power is about to take center stage. Don't touch what God is protecting you from. Don't force what He's putting on pause. Stay out of it and watch what happens when heaven fights for you. Heaven. You thought everything was fine, that what looked like care, support and concern was real. But beneath the surface, something darker was moving. The enemy rarely comes with fangs bared. He shows up with smiles, with comforting words, with just enough truth to make the lie look safe. But God, in His unsearchable wisdom, is already tearing down the enemy's plan before it reaches you. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with Him. Daniel 2:22. Maybe you felt it. Something's off. The conversations have changed. The people you used to lean on feel distant. You're no longer comfortable in spaces you once called home. That's not random. That's not you being too sensitive. That's God stepping in, cutting ties, shutting doors, not out of cruelty, but out of fierce protection. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. You don't see the strings being pulled behind the curtain, but trust He's severing them one by one. And maybe you're wondering why you're numb, why you can't cry, why your energy is drained and your spirit feels like it's flatlined. This isn't depression. It's not burnout. It's not you failing to be strong. It's a holy sedation. God is keeping your soul still because you're standing at the edge of a decision that could shape your future for years. He's silencing your impulses so you don't walk into a spiritual ambush. Yes, your free will is real, but right now, heaven is overriding the controls, because left to your own devices, you'd step into something designed to harm you. This is divine intervention disguised as disconnection. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Proverbs 16:9. So that feeling of pause, that lack of motivation, that sudden distance from certain people, that's not failure, that's grace. Sometimes God pulls you out of the room before the conversation turns, before the betrayal unfolds, before the damage is done. You may never see the full danger He rescued you from, but you'll feel the peace He replaced it with. There's someone in your life right now, a person you trusted, maybe even loved, who's been unknowingly providing access for the enemy to get close. And God is shutting that down, hard, without drama, without warning. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17, and that includes the ones dressed like friends. You might feel alone, but you're not. You're in a holy timeout, a sacred retreat, just like Elijah in the wilderness when God didn't show up in the wind or the fire, but in the whisper, 1 Kings 19:11-12. He's whispering to you now, in the silence, in the stillness, in the disconnection that feels like punishment but's really protection. Don't force your way back into connections God is cutting. Don't chase people He's removing. Don't revive conversations He has silenced. Let Him isolate you. Let Him shield you. Because when you come out of this, you'll see things you couldn't see before, with clarity, with conviction, with purpose. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:1-3. So breathe, wait, trust. Heaven is at work in places you can't see. You're not stuck, you're not lost. You're being repositioned, rerouted, realigned. And when it's time to move again, you'll move with power, with peace, and with eyes wide open. There are moments in life that hang on the edge of eternity, where one decision, one step, could shift everything. And in those moments it's easy to act fast under pressure, thinking we're choosing wisely. But what if God, in His infinite vision, saw the danger ahead and slammed the door shut? Not to punish you, but to protect you. This isn't bad luck, it's divine strategy. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, Psalm 37:23, and sometimes the order includes a red light, for your own good. You were ready to move. The plan looked solid, but God saw what you couldn't, the trap ahead, the regret waiting on the other side. So he intervened. And while you're asking why the door didn't open, heaven is saying, not yet. I'm saving you. What feels like rejection is actually redirection. What feels like a delay is a detour around disaster. You might feel stuck right now, like your life is paused and the silence is deafening. You're not broken. You're being shielded. You shall not need to fight in this battle. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. 2 Chronicles 20:17. In this season, God is not being quiet because he's distant. He's quiet because he's working, preparing, protecting. This stillness isn't empty, it's sacred. You're not in a dead zone, you're in divine quarantine. Your soul is being recalibrated, tuned to hear the frequency of heaven without the static of the world. The people fading from your life, the plans falling apart, let them go. They were never part of your destiny. They were detours sent to distract you. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15:33. God saw what you couldn't see, and he pulled you out before the damage was done. Behind the curtain, there's a war for your future. The enemy tried to disguise traps as opportunities, toxic people as partners. But God is always 3 steps ahead. He's not just closing doors, he's destroying the blueprint of the enemy's plan. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, Isaiah 54:17. And some of those weapons look like blessings, but now they're being dismantled piece by piece. Yes, it may hurt, it may feel like loss, but what if the heartbreak was the rescue? What if the closed door was God's mercy in disguise? The extraction might feel violent, like being ripped from something you thought was meant for you, but once you see what he was saving you from, you'll worship him for the disruption, because you didn't just dodge a storm, you dodged destruction. God's plan is alive, breathing, moving, evolving. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Jeremiah 29:11. And right now, while you sleep, while you worry, while you wait, God is rewriting the next 3 years of your life. He's erasing sabotage. He's planting purpose. He's paving a way you didn't even know you needed. You thought you were in control, but the truth is, you're not the author. God is. And while you've been resting, he's been editing, refining, rearranging the details so that the story ends with victory. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. So breathe. Trust. Stop fighting the stillness. It's not punishment, it's preparation. And when this season lifts, you won't come out the same. You'll come out wiser, stronger, sharper. When it's time to move again, you won't just be stepping forward. You'll be stepping into a future handcrafted by God himself. One you couldn't have imagined, one worth every delay. Have you ever felt like life is pulling you away from certain people, places, or situations? It's not abandonment, it's not rejection, it's divine intervention. God isn't letting you be overlooked. He's deliberately erasing your name from spaces that were never meant to carry your purpose. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." What you thought was loss is actually God's rescue mission in disguise. Yes, it stings, but this isn't pain without purpose. This is heaven doing surgery, removing your spirit from environments that were poisoning your growth. Angels are moving silently, severing ties you didn't even know were holding you hostage. Conversations that once thrilled you now feel hollow. Connections that once fit suddenly don't. That's not you changing, that's God maturing your spirit. Psalm 91:4 says, "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge." God is hiding you, not because you're forgotten, but because he's preparing you. You're being pulled back so he can launch you forward. What looks like silence is actually strategy. What feels like isolation is divine insulation. The enemy thrives in noise, in distractions, in gossip, in opinions. But right now, God is quieting your soul to break every spiritual stronghold that's tried to define you. Exodus 14:14 declares, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." In this stillness, something sacred is happening. The noise is dying, the spell is breaking, the distractions are dissolving. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. When God hides you, He does it to protect what He's growing in you. The fruit takes shape underground before it ever breaks through the surface. That's what this is, a hidden season of transformation. You may not feel it, but spiritually you're already being moved. Your name is being written in new rooms, your influence stretched to new dimensions. 2 Corinthians 4:18 tells us, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." While you rest, heaven is working. Assignments are being reshuffled. Destinies are being realigned. This is not random. This is spiritual architecture. Every shift, every silence, every goodbye is a part of the blueprint. The ground beneath you may feel like it's shifting, and that's because it is. Spiritually, you're being relocated. You're moving from what was convenient to what is consecrated. The people you were once aligned with are being sifted. Those who were meant to walk with you into your next season will remain. The rest, let them go. John 15:2 says, "He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit." This is pruning, and pruning always comes before greater fruit. When the silence lifts, when your eyes open, you'll realize you've changed. Your heart will beat different. Your voice will carry authority. Your purpose will feel undeniable. Because it is. God is not just changing your environment, He's changing you from the inside out. This stillness, it's not the end, it's the launch pad. It's the pause before the breakthrough. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." When the time is right, God will shift you from hidden to highlighted, and you'll step out with a clarity, a strength and a purpose that only heaven can give. So don't mistake the silence for stagnation. This is the moment before the miracle. God is placing you precisely where you need to be. Trust the shift. Embrace the stillness. Something greater is coming. Romans 8:28 assures us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This is not just a new season. This is your spiritual awakening. And it starts now. There comes a point in every life when you're standing in front of a door that needs to close. You know it, you feel it, but still you pause. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's comfort, maybe you're just not ready to let go of what you've known. And that's where God steps in, not with anger, but with love. He closes doors we can't close ourselves, not because He's punishing us, but because He's protecting us. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? That door that just shut, that chapter that ended, it's not your downfall, it's your turning point. What looks like rejection is really redirection. God isn't just removing something, He's making space for what's next. He's rerouting you toward the life you were born to live." Sometimes His no is the most merciful answer we could ever receive. He sees what we can't. The danger ahead, the delay, the dead end. Proverbs 16:9 reminds us, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." If you're feeling lost, it's not because you're off track. It's because you're being guided onto a better one. So if doors are closing, let them. Don't chase after what God has already walked away from. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of something more aligned, more peaceful, more purposeful. What you think you're losing, God's already replacing with better, with holy, with meant for you. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable, it may stretch your faith, but in time you'll look back and realize that door had to close. It wasn't rejection, it was rescue. And as that door closes, don't be surprised when new ones begin to open, doors you didn't even know existed. Revelation 3:8 declares, "I have set before you an open door that no one can shut." These are the doors that were always part of your story, you just weren't ready yet. But now God says it's time. You might think you have to make it all happen, grind for every opportunity, control every outcome. But what if right now, without your effort, heaven is orchestrating something on your behalf? A divine connection, a breakthrough, a moment that shifts everything. Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." You don't have to strive, you just have to trust. Right now God is aligning people, conversations, open doors, all for your good. You may not see it, but behind the scenes, it's all coming together. Not by chance, but by design. These moments aren't random, they are holy setups. They are heaven's blueprint for your next level. So breathe, stay steady. You won't have to chase it. What's meant for you will find you. And here's the part that may break you wide open. Someone is about to remember you. Not just anyone. Someone in a position to bless you, to open a door you've only dreamed of. You've been faithful in silence. You've been consistent in secret. And now the reward is coming in public. Galatians 6:9 promises, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This moment, it's been years in the making. When that person walks into your life, when that opportunity calls your name, it'll feel sudden, but it's not. It's divine timing. God has been writing this scene long before you ever saw it coming. You're not forgotten. You're being positioned. You're not overlooked. You're being elevated. When this door opens, it will all make sense. Every delay, every disappointment, every detour. And you'll walk through it not as who you were, but as who God has been shaping you to become. This is your season of divine recognition. Get ready. Something is shifting in the unseen realm right now. Quietly but unmistakably, God is placing a mantle of spiritual authority on your life. An authority that is not temporary, not fragile, and not dependent on the approval of others. You may not feel different yet. You may not see it reflected in your circumstances, but in the spirit, something permanent has been released. Just as David was anointed long before he wore the crown, God is setting you apart in advance of the visible evidence. For the gifts and the calling of God are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. This authority you're stepping into isn't something you earned by striving or hustling. It's a gift, freely given, but fiercely powerful. You won't have to announce it, argue for it, or prove yourself. It will simply be there, felt, recognized, undeniable. You'll speak and people will listen, not because your voice is loud, but because it carries weight. Your words will carry God's breath. Your actions will carry the force of heaven. You will move with confidence that comes not from ego, but from alignment. And with this authority comes responsibility. God isn't just giving you a platform, He's giving you His heart. He's calling you to lead not by control, but by example, with wisdom that surpasses human understanding. As it's written, the wise in heart are called discerning, and gracious words promote instruction. Proverbs 16:21. You are being trusted with more influence, more insight, more spiritual impact. And here's the beautiful truth. This authority isn't seasonal, it's sealed. You are marked by God. Now it is God who makes both us and you stand firm in Christ. He anointed us, set His seal of ownership on us. 2 Corinthians 1:21-22. You are stepping into a season that will demand greater discernment. Not everything that looks good is from God. The Spirit is sharpening your senses, tuning your spiritual ear to recognize His voice above the noise. You'll begin to see with clarity what once confused you. You'll know in your spirit what is real, what is fake, what is right, and what is wrong. Not based on appearance, but by revelation. Solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. Hebrews 5:14. This discernment will be your compass. You'll recognize blessings hidden in strange packaging. You'll avoid traps disguised as opportunities. You'll sidestep distractions that used to drain you. You'll stop being deceived by flattery or manipulated by pressure. Instead, you'll walk steady, calm, confident, rooted in truth. You might feel God pulling you away from certain roles, relationships, or routines. It's not rejection, it's redirection. What once looked like your purpose may now feel out of sync. That's because He's removing the good to make room for the God-ordained. You're not being sidelined, you're being repositioned. Every branch that does bear fruit He prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. John 15:2. Let Him prune. Let Him redirect. He's preparing you for something greater. And as He clears the path, don't grieve what you're leaving behind. Those exits are divine. They are protection. They are alignment. They're upgrades in disguise. You're being set up to walk in assignments that match your anointing, not just tasks to keep you busy, but missions that pull the best out of you, stretch your faith, and multiply your impact. What's coming is not just more, it's right. It's you in full stride. And through it all, you will carry a peace that defies logic. This peace isn't passive or weak, it's a divine force. It silences chaos. It anchors your soul. It roars louder than fear, anxiety, or distraction. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Even in stormy conditions, your calm will testify to the power of God in you. That peace is the fruit of your alignment. It's proof that you are walking with Him. As you move forward, peace will be your signal. If it disrupts your peace, it's not your assignment. If it strengthens your peace, keep going. Your spiritual maturity is rising. You're no longer tossed by the waves. You are standing firm. And now, God is unlocking realms of revelation you've never walked in before. Mysteries are being made known to you. Insights that once felt unreachable are suddenly clear. You're gaining access to heavenly wisdom, strategies from above, not just for you, but for those you're called to lead. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3.